So welcome to this video where we will dive into the topic of running and pelvic floor dysfunction. Are these two able to match at all? And I have a video which is called Do's and Don'ts with pelvic floor dysfunction, which I think is really helpful to get that mindset of how you should live your life, what you are able to do, what type of activities, and how can you modify anything in your life to support your healing of your pelvic floor. So I highly recommend you watching that in combination with this one. So running. This is a very interesting topic, I think. And I just want to be very transparent here and say that I have never liked running. I've done a lot of running, but it's never been one of those things where I get really hooked. And I am a physical person. I love physical activity, and I can enjoy running more in playing with my kids and so on. So I am not really kind of attached to running, and what I believe is that running has a good effect in the body when it comes to like cardiovascular exercise and to get that heart rate up. But I also think there are other ways to do that. So what I have understood when I have done my research on everything around women's health, so except for all the pelvic floor things, I've also done a deep diving into hormones. I've done a course called Justice Method, which I think is just amazing, where you kind of manually track your cycle. You evaluate the secretes and all of that. And in another video, I share a lot about how hormones affect your pelvic health because they are intimately connected. And we want, of course, to have a balanced cycle if we are healing our pelvic floor. That will definitely help to have a good foundation for the tissues to be able to heal. What I have learned in regards of hormones and running is that running is not really great for women. And why is that? And I know that this may be like a minefield to go into. And I don't want to take anyone's passion away around running. So what I have understood is, of course, you can run, especially throughout different periods of your cycle. So, for example, when you are ovulating and the estrogen is high, running could be a good activity. Not always, but it could be. But that's kind of it. And throughout the rest of the cycle, what happens when we are running is that it is causing stress in the body. So we are creating more cortisol, which is the kind of stress hormone, which is good and we need it in certain amounts. But so much in our daily lives are creating higher cortisol levels. So in general, we should aim to kind of decrease. And other things that elevates the cortisol levels are blue light, so screens and coffee, also just general stress, like if you have a stressful life, if you have many tasks, if you're just doing. So all of that will create increased cortisol levels, and that will create chaos in your hormones. So estrogen and progesterone won't be able to work in a nice balance in the same way. And I'm not saying now that you should never ever look at a screen or you should never ever drink coffee. We can optimize we can do all of these things. We just need to do them a little smarter. Like we need to be smart about it. So maybe you can wear, for example, blue blockers or You can drink your coffee after you've watched the sunrise and having breakfast. So it's not the first thing that will kind of spike your cortisol up very high first thing in the morning. And same thing with running. So if you really, really, really want to run, I recommend you to do that around your ovulation time. And when it comes to pelvic floor, like if you are having issues in your pelvic floor, I would not say that running is a good thing to do necessarily. Like if you are running to play with your kids and to be more playful around it rather than let's go, I'm gonna run as fast as I can for as long as I can, or I'm gonna train for this marathon or something like that, I would consider not doing that. But if you are running more for play and for having fun, and it gives you a sense of belonging or community or just having fun, that it can definitely be worth it. So if you are able to not run as an exercise, I would skip it, definitely. So the pelvic floor, each and every time you set a foot down when you are running, it will create a lot of pressure in the pelvic floor. And that's just unnecessary. Another thing with running is that if you have any imbalance in your posture, for example, you are asymmetrical, so you look different on the right side and on the left, or you just have a poor posture with your pelvis, with your upper back, each and every single step you take when running will just make that imbalance in your body worse, if you're not actively aware of it and working with that to create a bigger balance in your body. So running, I would really, really consider doing something else. And here are some options. So if you are into the cardiovascular thing with the heart rate and all of that, and if you have, you know, a quite stable pelvic floor, I can highly recommend rebounding. That is so amazing. I love it. If you have a weak pelvic floor and when you do jump on a trampoline, you feel your pelvic floor like then don't do rebounding yet. So that's a great option just for that blood pumping. And I read somewhere, actually, I'm not sure if this is completely true, but 10 minutes of rebounding equals 30 minutes of running, like the effect on the cardiovascular level. Another option is walking. Walking is amazing. And if you can walk for like 30 minutes every day, that's amazing. Maybe even some more time, 1 hour, some days. That will also have a great effect in your body, and it won't create any stress. It won't make any cortisol levels go up, and so on. And then one of my favorite ways to exercise, which I did compete in when I was younger, is swimming. Because swimming is not going to create any pressure on the pelvic floor. Water also is actually very healing for the body. Just being in a body of water will start to balance your hormones. So that could be another great option, and it can be really challenging for anyone who's looking for that part and to really get that circulation in the body and that type of exercise. I highly recommend swimming. So that's it for this video today. I hope you got some more clarity, and I hope to see you soon again.